But it is nice you can tell the story where you had the idea.
Tell me.
It was in the supermarket. You told me.
Yeah. It was. Yes. It was 2, 3 days when I returned from Innsbruck. From Vienna after getting this offer in February, and then okay. Where's Oliver?
And he asked me, "Do you want to write with me this show?" I said, "Why? Yes, why not?" I had no idea what kind of.
Jürgen and Oliver, this is so lovely because I saw your Facebook post. I saw the post of the Die Schatten Kaiserin, and you won an award for that, or you nominated for award.
You're nominated.
You're nominated, yeah. And I saw I saw on YouTube a little bit down, I heard the music. And tell me, what was the inspiration? Why did you do this project?
It was 2017 when the intendant of the Tirollerlandestheater, Johannes Reitmeier, asked us if we want to write the music for this project, because 2019 there was this big
anniversary
of Kaiser Maximilian.
500 years. The anniversary of 500 years, Emperor Maximilian. He was the first emperor of Austria, because Austria did not exist at this moment. He was the emperor of the German Roman Empire, and yes.
And he was much of his life situated in Innsbruck. And there was a big romance, maybe you know that, with Kaiser Maximilian and Maria von Burgund. This was the first wife of Kaiser Maximilian, and everybody knows this story because she died during an accident with a horse with the age of 24, 25. And then 15, 20 years later, Maximilian had to marry Bianca Maria Sforza.
Because he needed much money.
Yes. Because of the money.
It was a political decision.
Yes. As you do. Yeah.
And so Johannes Reitmeier asked us if we want to make the music, to compose the music for this big anniversary year 2019, with a lot of presentations, a lot of also cultural stuff. And the Tirollerlandestheater wanted one musical about this topic with Bianca Maria Sforza, and not Maria from Burgund, because Bianca Maria Sforza lived then in Innsbruck, and she also died there.
Oh, I see. But at least did he love her? That's the question.
The beginning of the relationship, he tried to love her, but her kind was like kind of a child, and he needed a wife and not a child at home, and so this marriage was only a political decision and nothing more.
And a very important thing to know is that she wasn't able to get children, because she had a kind of morbus. What do you call this in
Basildorf,
with these big eyes, and that's why Kaiser Maximilian had no successor, because with Maria von Burgund he had 3 children. Philip the Schöne, he was then Emperor of Spain, but with Maria Bianca Sforza, they had no children. And this was a very important thing, that he lost every interest in Bianca Maria Sforza.
Well, this is an interesting story, and this is part of history. And you've taken that story now and you've made it into a musical. And I heard the sound of the musical, the sound of the music, and now I'm always so scared to say things like this because I'm not a musician, but it sounds like a very modern day musical. It sounds like really Hollywood stuff for me.
Yes, I think this is the kind of music we love. Uh,
Yeah.
because we come from the orchestra parts as composers. Jürgen comes from the jazz,
more from jazz music,
but he began to write more and more for orchestra, and I come absolutely from the classical side, and began to move more in the direction into show music and musical, and so this kind of writing music came.
Yeah, the idea was to write real orchestral music because, especially in.
Sorry. Sorry.
Because in Germany and Austria, especially during the last 20 years, the sound of the musicals were more or less very rock and popular music style. And we really made a decision to write music which sounds more like cinema music.
So
with
exactly.
kind of motifs which came not only one time, and to write a show or a piece with full music through the whole story, and not like numbers or songs, then you have kind of dialogue or scenes, and then again a song or kind of recitativo. So we really want to make an orchestral score. And
it was very interesting during the performances in this theater in Innsbruck. There is an audience, an opera audience, and a musical audience. They are divided, and both came to the show. And I think the opera fans were very enthusiastic about this piece because it was not really a modern musical style, it's more opera style. We composed this piece, and but we use musical voices, not only classical voices, some classical voices in this piece, but there are some musical voices combined with classical music. And I think it's very interesting.
So it's kind of crossover music.
Yeah, but this is what I wanted to say is when I initially saw it, when I saw the picture and I saw if you don't put the music on and if you just look at the visual, then you would think it's an opera. It has for me that almost that musical feeling, but it has this also this opera look, to it. And that I found really great that you managed to do that. I think that's
something very new, is a new stuff, I think, because we combine the opera music with musical music and musical voices, and there was a big discussion in the press about.
So, for example, the best critics are from opera newspapers, and the musical newspapers in Austria and Germany were about, so what the hell, what's that now?
What do you want? Do you want an opera or do you want a musical? We said, no, we want to go a new way
of writing this kind of music. There are popular melodies for sure in it, but we really wanted to write high quality music, and not also in the way we orchestrated the piece. This was a very important part. So because during composing, we really tried to notate the kind of orchestra style we want in the show, and that's also why we decided then to make all the orchestrations too. Because a lot of times composers are engaging orchestrators or arrangers to write then the music. But in this case, we really did everything by ourselves.
I think some pieces in the musical we orchestrated together.
Also together, yeah. So in the morning he was writing, and afternoon I was writing.
Really?
We played ping pong.
but I mean, immediately when you start listening, it almost has a familiar sound. That's what I like. It's something that you can immediately think, you feel immediately, you can listen to it. It's new, but it's not, some things are very new that you have to listen to it a few times for it to really for you to digest it. But this immediately, as I started listening, it had a
It's
very
very interesting what you tell us now,
yeah.
because yesterday I told Jürgen some minutes ago before our meeting that yesterday I had a recording session in Vienna for nearly 12 hours, and I contacted there, and the musicians told me the same about our music.
Really?
Yes, they said, "Oh, this is so. This is when it sounds so familiar, but very
Yeah.
new."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. And of course, I know your little star of the show, of the production, Andrea.
Andrea Siderich.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually took her picture in the window for my project, and I
Okay.
also had a interview with her a while ago for the West Side Story. Yeah,
We know Andrea for a very long time.
really.
Yes, from the beginning.
Because she studied musical theater first in Vienna at the
Yeah.
MUC, at former conservatory, the city in Vienna.
Private university.
Now it's a private university, Johannesgasse. And later on, she started to work more and more in a classical way. But she's one of these voices with the quality of voices where she can do everything. At the moment, she goes much more to the classic style, but she's really able to do also this so-called legit
Amazing.
vocal
She
style.
she knows how to handle
Yeah.
the different styles in the music. This is often a very big problem with classical singers, because they have an education only in classical style, but it's not a question of the technique. Technique is a musical question. How you work with your voice,
More or less.
and how you phrase. Phrasing is different in classical music than in musical music or in pop music.
Oh, I
Especially
see.
that you use the speech quality you need in this kind of music. So because in opera it's much more important to sing these broad lines and use a big sound that you can project over the orchestra. But in musical, because you of the use of microports, you can work much more as a lead singer, I think.
Oh, I
And
see.
and that's the big difference, because every opera singer, also often had, and also all were opera singers in music productions, and they really then tried to make it broader and louder, but then the sound is, you cannot understand any word because
Yeah.
of using this big quality. But when you work much more like a lead singer, that's the thing you need for this kind of musical, when you want to transport the story over the songs. And this is also a very important thing we wanted to do, because a lot of the during the last 15 years of the musical productions, of the new productions I saw here in Vienna, it was the same thing. It was a song, then you have kind of recitative, of melodramatic things, and then the next song. And the story is only transported in the melodramatic stuff and during dialogues, but not within the stories of the songs, and not with the music. And that's what we wanted to change. And that's maybe also the thing why many people think that's more kind of an operatic style, because in opera the music brings the story forward.
Well, this is really then, this is what is a modern day opera then, actually.
Yes,
Even if it has that musical elements in it, but um, this is why the operatic audience then also enjoyed it, because they could totally understand that type of telling the story, that way of telling the story through the music.
The only thing is, especially, I don't know how it's in the United States or in England, but in Germany, Austria, new operas have to sound are very for a minority. Let's tell it in this way, because it's more or less forbidden to use normal triads or to use really.
The avant-garde is very strong
here.
Okay.
But we cannot say that this is a new opera, because when we are telling the people, okay, you're listening to a new opera.
Okay. So it's
I think we wanted to not to write a musical or an opera. We wanted to make musical theater.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is the basic. We wanted to go back to the basic, back to the roots. How to transport
a story.
Story.
Yeah.
Through the music.
Well, you
it's not
did
important
it.
What you write.
You
It's
did
not
it
important.
very well.
I want to write a musical. I want to write an opera. I want to write an operetta. You have to decide that you have to make musical theater.
And I think it was also very important that the story is located in end of medieval, and it's a very historical stuff. So the way to use more or less orchestra sounds and not modern rock sounds was from the beginning of the process. It was very clear. In the first talks with Innsbrucker Landestheater, it was clear we're writing music for orchestra and not a kind of rock opera or something like that, because this kind of music wouldn't fit to the story, I think.
Yeah. Well, this is actually bringing also this type of music and this orchestral music a bit to a different audience, I think. I think there will be people who not necessarily would go to the opera, who would actually find this because of this familiar sound. It's a very easy sound to get into, I think. Very, very.
Yes. I can tell you something as a little story. I showed the music, the vice president of Paramount Music, and he told me, yes, that's a kind of music we like in Hollywood.
Really?
Because it sounds so cinematic.
Yeah.
I showed him the concert overture, and he said, "Yes, this is so beautiful. It sounds like cinematic music. Very interesting. We seem to transport cinematic music into the theater."
But that's amazing. But now I want to know. So, you are friends outside this project?
We're private friends too.
Together for 30 years.
Yeah.
Starting with 15, 16 years in the school. But we weren't in the same school, but our schools are about 150 meters.
I see. Okay. And where did you grow up?
We grew up here in Wiener Neustadt, where we are sitting now.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. And then, and so you both studied music and just keep contact with each other all the time?
Yeah.
Different studies of music, because I studied jazz, piano, and composition in Vienna at the conservatory. And OIiver?
I studied singing, was my first profession, and piano, classical piano, and composition. And then I went studied the first three things. I studied in Wiener Neustadt. We had a conservatorium here. It does not exist now. And then I went to Vienna and studied orchestral conducting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I saw conducting.
I'm conducting too, yes.
Yeah. And which one of
maybe it's very interesting also for you that Emperor Maximilian, he was born in Wiener Neustadt, so in our home
city.
and he's also buried here in Wiener Neustadt at the
I see.
Georgskathedrale. Yeah, so he's
Oh,
not in
wow.
Innsbruck and not in Vienna, but here in Wiener Neustadt.
So that is
And
very.
his mother is also buried here in Wiener Neustadt
Yeah.
with his three, I think two sisters and one brother.
Yeah.
They
But
died
That
as
is so
children.
But
That's so
his
interesting.
father, Friedrich III, is buried in the Wiener Stephansdom. So that's a big
Oh, I see.
monument in Vienna at the Stephansdom.
And Friedrich III, his father lived here in
Wiener
Wiener Neustadt.
So his residence
In the
was
castle.
here in Wiener Neustadt.
Really? Oh,
So
I
that's why
find
he
this.
was okay.
I find this this history so interesting, and you know that you come from there and that you're writing this now as well. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
And so but how so and you decided together to do this project. It was
Yes,
yeah.
because I was engaged at the Tirollerlandestheater also in 2015 with another project, Nostradamus, where this was a show created about 2000. I also wrote in 2000 all the orchestration stuff. And the composer, Roger Bogasch, was the chief of the opera department in the Tiroler Landestheater, but he died in 2015 on cancer. And the show was set for opening night 2015 in Innsbruck. And then they decided to make it 2016. And so I was there to make all the music stuff. And this was a big success in Innsbruck. And then Johannes Reitmeier asked me if I'm interested to write this thing. And I know Johannes Reitmeier for about 20 years and know that when he's doing such a big project, it has to be really big. So the second idea of me then was, okay, I need someone to work with me on this project because I'm teaching in Vienna at the University of Music and performance in Vienna, and it wouldn't be able to write such a big thing in 2 years alone to make all the orchestrations and all the music. And then for me it was clear to ask OIiver if he has time to write with me.
But it is nice you can tell the story where you had the idea.
Tell me.
It was in the supermarket. You told me.
Yeah, it was. Yes. It was 2-3 days when I returned from Innsbruck, from Vienna after getting this offer in February, and then okay, where's OIiver?
And he asked me, "Do you want to write with me this show?" I said, "Why? Yes, why not?" I had no idea what kind of show. And then when I saw the book, the storybook of the show, I saw, oh my God, this huge monster we have to write.
And it took 1.5 years.
1.5 years
for the complete material.
Really? But I just want to know, when you were in the supermarket, what made you think of OIiver?
No, it was just like, okay, here it is.
Okay. Oh, this is so funny. I love it.
Yeah, it was just okay.
It was a hard time for us because you teach at the university, and I was a first conductor in a theater, and I had a second job as composer for another theater to compose an opera. So I composed 2 pieces, 2.5 pieces in the same time, and had 4 premieres on the theater to conduct as conductor, and I had an American tour as conductor
in winter.
In the winter.
And so how do you get your head around? Because you need some space there to think of the music and to.
So
absolute
really
discipline.
9 o'clock in the morning, piano, and there's the lyrics, the text. And it was also a very successful cooperation with Susanne Wolf. She did all the lyrics and the libretto, and every time we had some problems with the rhythm of the text, for example. That Susanne, we need here 2 new lines, and that please send us till 10 o'clock. Okay, here it is.
And Susanne is a
Wow.
phenomenon because she's able to change things on the telephone.
Really?
For my recent project now, she wrote one song, and I called her, Susanne, I'm composing now, but I have a problem here. I need another word. Okay, take that.
Really? That's
Yes, she is
amazing.
unbelievable.
So she wrote the lyrics then of this
Yes,
piece.
The book and the lyrics, yeah.
everything.
And
Oh, that is amazing.
it took time of 6 months for her just to bring the first version of the book. And we started composing in November 2017. And there, not every lyric of the songs were ready, but so we started to work only with the parts of the lyrics. And
There
then
were some hook lines.
yeah,
We had some hook lines from her, some titles, so we knew how to, in which direction this all would go, and so this was a
so it was
good way to work.
yeah, and then but she brought the missing parts during winter 2017-18, and starting with spring 2018 we had a complete book that was very important for all the opening parts and the finales, because
Oh, yeah.
the finales first part there are 40 people on the stage, and everybody had to sing his lines, and we really made a kind of mash-up in the finales where every singer had his important hook line from the first part, for example, to bring that back to the memory of the audience. So this was also very important for us, that every city, Mailand, Innsbruck, they had different styles of music, different lines of music, and we brought all this together in the finales, first part and second part. This is actually not at the recording because of technical things and timetables. The choir wasn't able to record this. So the music is in the CD. There are only
The highlights.
the highlights of the show, and all these melodramatic things are missing there.
This is the reason because we recorded the concert overture. Because in the concert overture you find much more music from the musical
And much more themes
themes, yes, from the musical.
than you have on the CD.
Yeah.
But I find it now also interesting that you say that she, Susanna, she wrote the lyrics, and I would think, do you ever get together, or did you get together to talk about that? So you just did discuss the whole line of where you're going
Yes,
to.
we had some meetings.
In the beginning, we had meetings in Vienna, then here in Wiener Neustadt. Wiener Neustadt is located 35 kilometers south of Vienna, so that's not big distance.
Yeah.
And we had meetings every 3-4 weeks, and then finishing the vocal score, we really had some kind of workshops together. So 2-3 days, then she was writing new line. We said, okay, that's okay, but here we need some sentence for that role and for that. Please give us something with for measures, for example.
And we even had workshops with the director.
Yeah.
With Johannes Reitmeier.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
And
well, this sounds amazing.
The composing process was finished in end of August 2018. So we composed
1 year before the show
8
started.
months, and then it was ready. And then we started to orchestrate. And this took time till 1 week before the premiere. It was ready at beginning of
July, yes,
but
absolutely.
then
we
during
had
the
to
rehearsal
write
process,
some music more, and and to change some things.
Yes.
And in the process, when you started rehearsing and working on it, was there things that you had to change because of the singers or because of the staging?
Not much. Because of the staging, yes. So transmission music and all this stuff.
But you wrote one musical song.
Very short
during the rehearsals, and Jürgen was in Innsbruck, and I was in Bad Ischl at this time. I contacted an operetta festival, and he called me and said, "Oh, I wrote a new
very short song.
very short song, but can you orchestrate it, please? I have no time, but you need only a celesta and something else." And the next day I sent him such a score.
20 bars long, but it was a real complete orchestral score. So this was also very funny to work.
And you were busy with something else, and you managed to do that as well. I mean, you were in Bad Ischl.
Yeah, he was in Bad Ischl, I was in Innsbruck, and Johannes Reitmeier gave me a text, 4 or 5 lines, said, "Okay, we need music for that." And we need it tomorrow. I thought, okay, give me 1 hour time. And I went to the rehearsing room with the piano and started writing just on paper. Then I thought, okay, that's nice. I went to the female singer, said, okay, come, let's try that. 1 hour later, it was fixed. Then I went to the computer, made a kind of vocal score.
Yeah.
I sent it to OIiver, and next day it was the complete orchestral score was ready.
The orchestra could rehearse.
But then I also told to Johannes Reitmeier and to the staff of the show, okay, but that's not usual that you can get music within 1 day. So
don't try it again.
Don't try it again.
Then you called me. I was at home on the computer and in my studio.
Yeah.
And so we need a sound design now.
Yeah.
I said, okay, what kind of sound design? Give me the director. And I had to ask him very much because they told me only a sound design. We need horns and from the woods.
So some sounds
from the
birds and
cracking woods
and something.
So
the thunderstorm came, so it was really kind of cinemascope. So about 1 minute.
And so I produced this sound design.
Yeah.
And sent it to this file to Innsbruck. And
this also was during one day.
1 day.
Yeah.
Less than 1 day. I had only 2 hours and.
That is incredible how you work, really. Well, I hope this is not your only project together, because it seems like you have a great chemistry to work together.
Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward for new projects.
Yeah.
Let's see, after nomination.
That would be great if you could do that. I love the sound of what you do, really.
At the moment, we write different things. And
also because of Corona, so this was everybody everywhere in the world were difficult. So
this all happened before Corona.
Yeah.
Yes.
And our last performance was on the 11th of January 2020. So
is that not amazing?
Before everything stopped.
That is amazing.
Also in Austria, in the last or this year, the theaters were closed till May, June.
Yeah.
Some theaters are starting now again.
And for you coming now out of lockdown, and were you busy doing composing and things like that during lockdown, or did you just use the time to sort of relax a little bit?
You start.
Well, I wrote a total new opera in this time for a German theater, and now I composed music for a CD project, and yesterday we recorded it in Vienna. And Jürgen had to.
And it was very difficult because I'm deputy head of the department for voice at the university, and we had to manage this Corona crisis with more or less Zoom lessons and distance learning and all these things. So it was actually no time for a lot of art the last 1.5 years.
Are you teaching here at the MDV?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I
And I'm deputy head of the department.
Oh, there. Okay. I just live across the road here from the MDV.
At the Anton von Webern-Platz or?
Yeah, Anton von Webern-Platz. Yeah. But I've never been in Wiener Neustadt.
It's a nice little city.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go for a cycle one day, and if you say it's not that far
25 minutes from Vienna by train.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Every 30 minutes. You're faster in Wiener Neustadt than at the Zentralfriedhof in Simmering.
Really. That's so interesting. But thank you so much. This was so wonderful to talk to you. As I say, I just love this project that you did together, and I hope all the best for this nomination. That it's I will check on Facebook what happens here. When would be the announcement?
October the 4th, I think.
October the 4th in Hamburg.
Oh, okay.
At the Tirollerlandestheater Theater.
So will it be like a whole ceremony, or you're invited there to go?
I think a gala.
So like,
but I do not have good information now about it.
Oh, okay. Well, what are you going to dress up and frocks and everything for this?
We'll see.
That would be great. But I'm looking forward to hearing, and maybe we can speak when you have your opera, Oliver. When will you be doing? When will that be staged?
We plan to stage it on May 2022.
Chemnitz, yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Chemnitz, in Germany.
Oh, I see. Okay. I would love to talk to you about that as well.
My second opera there.
Really? Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Yes.
It was lovely to meet you too, really. And I mean, when you have time, when you come to Vienna one day, just let me know and we can grab a coffee or something. It would be lovely to meet you in person. Yeah.
So I'm starting with October, often also at the Anton von Webern-Platz, for sure.
Oh, do you? Well, just
different things.
So, yeah. If you have time just for a coffee, then we'll go to the hidden kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know the hidden kitchen here in lovely place. Yeah. So okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.